Today's progressivism has become a faux moral movement hurling charges of racism, bigotry, xenophobia, homophobia, Islamophobia, and a slew of other meaningless buzzwords at anyone they disagree with. The battle of ideas has been replaced by a battle of feelings, and outrage has replaced honesty. Diversity reigns supreme as long as it's not that pesky diversity of thought. This isn't the recipe for a free society, it's a recipe for authoritarianism. For these reasons, I can no longer call myself a progressive. I don't really call myself a Democrat either. I'm a classical liberal, a free thinker, and as much as I don't like to admit it, defending my liberal values has suddenly become a conservative position. So if you think people should be able to say what they think without being punished for it, that people should be judged by their behavior, not their skin color, and that people should be able to live the way that they want to live without government interference, then there's not much left on the left for you.
Oof. I hadn't seen that video in ages. I almost forgot Dave used to not have a beard. I don't even feel like I know him anymore. Joining me now, my friend Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report. Dave, what were you like, besides the no beard thing, which was weird, what were you like back then? I've never known you. I didn't know you back then. What were you like back then when you were on the left?
Well, first off, Jesse, much like you, I'm more beard than man now. The beard has taken over. Oh man, you guys are really busting out clips from the old days. Yeah, I was on the far left. I would say bananas left, if I want to be technical. Young Turks Network, that was a long time ago. That's sort of where I got my original political chops online, 2013 to 15. And I saw there, I'm very appreciative that I was there because I saw there what so many of us see now with the left. There was a constant screaming that everybody was a bigot and a racist and a transphobe and Islamophobe and everything else. And there was very little argument. You didn't really have to make an argument. It was just, oh, you're a bigot. You know, who's on Fox? They're a bigot. Who's on, who's talking to who? They're a bit racist and the rest of it. And one day, it sort of almost sounds cliche. But one day I just kind of was sitting there and the math didn't really work in my head. I thought, man, it can't be possible that every single person that we disagree with is a bigot and a transphobe and a racist, and these guys are just so right. We're all just so right about everything, because quite frankly, I didn't think that these people were all that bright after spending a lot of time around them. And then, the shocking part to me was that when I started talking to conservatives, it wasn't shocking that I had some disagreements, which now have become very, very narrow, I would say. But yes, I had some disagreements, let's say, when I first sat down with Ben Shapiro or Dennis Prager or Glenn Beck or Larry Elder. There were some disagreements as it came to abortion or maybe some tax stuff, something like that. But what I was most shocked by is that they were not evil. And I know that that might sound ridiculous to your audience that obviously leans conservative, but most people growing up in America, the factory settings, the default settings you grow up with culturally are that conservatives are mean, they only care about money and they care about war. And it's Democrats, liberals, lefties that are nice and kind and they're open-minded and everything else. And ironically, it's actually completely the reverse. I would welcome anybody to try to go to a house party, go to a dinner party that is hosted by some progressives and say something that they disagree with. Say that you're for, I don't know, a 4-month abortion ban and see how they take it. Now go sit down at a dinner party with some conservatives. You can say whatever you want and they might chuckle at you, they might want to debate you about it, but they will treat you with respect and decency almost every single time. And I think the fact that I saw that early on is kind of what led to my success. And just one other thing, I think at this moment that we're at, where we're seeing so many people across the spectrum break away from the left, I'm seeing a lot of people just repeat the things that I said, say 5 or 7 years ago. But let's not forget, I'm not the first guy that did it. Ronald Reagan once famously said, I did not leave the Democratic Party left me. So everyone goes through their awakening, and it's very few people who awaken and go the other way. You don't go from that to woke. You awake, and then you generally become more conservative as you get older.
Dave, I have this thing with my sons. I have these teenage sons, and they steal my food. And I like it, and they know I like it, but I have to pretend like I don't. So whenever it happened to me this morning, whenever I catch my oldest son stealing my chips, I will automatically yell, "Don't touch those. I'm going to break your fingers." And all he does is snicker, and he keeps eating the chips. I responded that way because I know it's just a natural response, but I didn't actually feel that way. I asked the question this way because you said all these people you sit with, it's always racist and Nazi and homophobe and things like that. Do they honestly feel like that? Or is it just this programmed response? They feel like if a Republican is brought up in any way, I've got to call him a racist or something like that. Is that something they genuinely think, or is it just programmed?
Well, I would say that there's several layers of it. You know, usually if you don't really know why you think something, if you haven't really thought out the issues, but you just take a position because it's the position of the left and the left decided that's the position on that given day, that's the current thing, I'm planting my flag, I got to get there. Usually if someone confronts you on that, the reason you go so over the top in the anger or the response or the name calling is because you don't want to get in a nuanced debate about how you came to that conclusion as to whether it's, again, abortion or death penalty or taxes or whatever it might be. So I think a certain set of them are just propagandists. So I would say like the MSNBC collection of people that you see up there pushing this stuff, they're absolute propagandists. They get up there railing against capitalism all day while they cash their, $400,000 a year checks to be on MSNBC, and they're propagandists. I would say the college kid who is out there at Columbia supporting Hamas, it's not that they're a propagandist. They have been taught all of the wrong things. They have been taught that America is evil, capitalism is evil. They've been taught that girls are boys, the litany of things that we now all know. And the reason that their reaction is so over the top is they don't know how to defend any of their ideas. So rather than getting into a debate, they will, tell you that you're the racist and you're the genocider and all of those things. So I think there's probably multiple layers to it. I would also say it's why anyone who is on the left that says the tiniest little thing that goes against leftist orthodoxy becomes an outsider. You've probably been playing clips or talking about it on your show over the last couple of days. Bill Maher, who has been the standard bearer of liberalism in America, he's been the most publicly facing liberal in America for almost 4 decades at this point. He has taken the position, which was the original classical liberal position that I was defending in that PragerU video, that if you're a true liberal, you believe in free speech, you believe in rationality, actually you believe in laissez-faire economics and a light touch of government. He's taken all of those very obvious positions, and now who hates him? The left hates him, and Jesse, you know this because I see you talk about it on Twitter. Who loves Bill Maher right now? It's the right, not because they agree with all of his conclusions. He's still too far pro-choice for them. He's still oddly going to vote for Joe Biden, and I'm working on that with Bill. I think maybe we can get there. We'll see. But the right is largely saying, oh, here's a liberal who's not a lunatic. Let's talk to him. The left, he can't go on MSNBC. Imagine if I said this to Bill Maher's face on his Club Random podcast. If Bill Maher showed up to a Trump rally, almost everyone there would be like, wow, that's pretty cool. Bill Maher's here. I disagree with him on some stuff, but it's all good. Okay, cool. If Bill Maher showed up to an AOC rally, he would be kicked out as if he was one of us. If he was just a Republican, conservative, whatever crazy right-wing maniac like you and me, Jesse. And that is the fundamental difference between all of this. Anyone on the left who takes any counter position is the bad guy. And if someone can prove that to not be true, I'd love to hear it.